5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's time to count down reality TV's most talked about moments with Amanda Bella. Hey everybody, welcome back to Bella Talks TV. This is Amanda Bella, and I have a really great episode for you this week. Thank you so much for coming back. If you are a returning listener, and if you're one of my day ones, it's really fun to think that I've started this about a year ago. I think September, I started my podcasting journey, and it's been really fun to think about the amount of people I have been able to really have subscribed, download, tune in. It's building this little Bella community, and I appreciate each and every one of you. If you are a new listener and you're here for the first time, let me just break down the usual structure of the show, because we have a true return to form Bella Talks TV episode. I have so much to go over with you. We're getting back to these glory days of reality TV. I feel there's so many different networks that are popping off right now. There's a lot to pick and choose from. So what I usually do every week, if you're new here, is I do a top 5 countdown of the most talked about moments of the week. Sometimes the moments, it can be from one particular scene, a line somebody delivered, all the way to an entire episode that had me gagged. So it just depends on what the most talked about moments really are online and also in our shows. So not just, again, scenes that have been happening or most talked about moments that happened on the shows necessarily, but also the most talked about moments in the Bravo sphere, in reality TV network, and just seeing what's going on in the world. And I'm here to break it all down for you. So thank you for being here. Usually before we do the top 5 countdown, we'll usually do a little intro and talk about what I've been up to. Again, if you're new here, I live in New York, and really lucky to go to a lot of these Bravo related events and come back to be able to tell you guys what I saw and heard when I was there. Now, again, I'm not really here to be some huge tea spilling podcast or account. I don't want to break news. I don't want to really have Bravo Labs even hating me. Honestly, I'm not here to ruin lives. I just am here because I love these shows, and I'm such an fan of all of this, and I'm just a fan. That's really the end of the day. This is a fan account. This is a fan podcast, and this isn't my job necessarily. It is my number one priority besides my dog Candy, who also is here. She's actually on camera today. Say hi, Puff. She's here recording with us today. Oh my God, look at that face. If you're on YouTube, what a treat. You get to see this little angel face. She likes to lay here and record with me. I actually have a really nice home office here that we made to use. My husband also works from home. And it's funny, he ends up always having to be out for meetings, and I can't even go in there and record because she'll start crying if she can't sit with me because I'm sitting at the desk. So it's a whole thing in there. But hopefully, as you guys will see, I'm going to start developing that now that we're living back in New York. And I want to make that room in that office really cool. And I would love to give you guys more than just a gray couch background for the YouTube. So yeah, thanks for being back. It's me, Candy, and we are going to be talking about everything this week, from Real Housewives to the Bachelorette to Tom Sandoval. Unfortunately, even he makes an appearance this week. So besides my top 5 countdown, I also like to do an OMG moment of the week and an LOL moment of the week. So my OMG and my LOL is typically what I'll kick the show off with. But I actually want to start with a couple of stories first that I've been dying to tell you guys. So a few things, like I said, here in New York that I've been lucky enough to be in attendance for this past week was first, last Thursday, I went to a summer house filming event where we were on a rooftop called Magic Hour, which I've previously been to this rooftop before. It's known for its really good cocktails and its Empire State views. So it's a really iconic rooftop. When I saw that Kyle was going to be DJing there for a Loverboy event, and I'm not even sure how I saw this on my Instagram feed. You guys know how the algorithm works. It just knew that I would be interested in this event. So I saw, I think through Eventbrite or something like that, maybe Resy. It was some kind of weird account that you can just make a reservation or buy a ticket through. And you would think for summer house filming, you wouldn't just buy a ticket and go, but that's how this particular event was set up. I'm not sure if this is how the parties are also. I've never been invited to attend a summer house party. I think you guys have heard me say before, it's on my bucket list. I'm trying to get invited to one of those this summer. which is crazy to think that they're filming. Like, well, today is Wednesday when I'm filming this, but basically in 2 days, they're going to be back in the house again. So they are currently filming, and I went to this event, and it was pretty much everything I thought it was going to be. So the first thing I did when I got to this event was go check in with security, and they had me fill out an NDA, to be filmed and all of the above. So gladly I sign it. I'm more than happy to sign it. I'm also thinking like, okay, does this put me in some kind of like extra database that maybe they'll use me again in the future? We will see. I mean, you had to upload a photo of yourself when you did the NDA. I had to like take a selfie. So I wonder if they identify you like in scenes and stuff and they want you to come back. Unclear. So I'll keep you posted with that. I guess I signed an NDA, so maybe I shouldn't tell you. I'm already going to get like fired from this, which is funny, which was another thing at the event. Like I didn't want to have my phone out too much. I didn't want to be blatantly taking pictures and videos like of the cast. Like I was trying to play it cool and I was trying to just blend in with everybody. But I got there, and as I'm signing in with security, I'm sitting on this little like bench in the hallway getting signed in, and Kyle walks up, and not to me, but he walks like into the hallway, and some other fans, and including this older lady, which she really kind of like looked like Kyle's mom and looked maybe like a family member, but he didn't really seem like he knew her that well. So there was just an interesting crowd there. He walks up to them. He's talking to some people that he knows. I'm sitting there just like, wow, okay, Kyle's right here. We're already popping off. We haven't even gone in through security yet. And then Carl like comes, peeks around the corner, like he's like looking for Kyle. They're clearly getting ready to like start filming. Everybody I think is kind of like backstage. Maybe there's like a green room area or something that I didn't know about. Maybe everybody was being held because the entire cast was there. So Kyle and Carl, I see right away. And then I already start hearing snickerings from other people that are there getting signed in that they saw Lindsay. So I'm like, holy shit, okay, Lindsay's here too. It's going to be Kyle, Carl, Lindsay. And then I knew Amanda would probably be there. I hadn't seen her yet, but people kind of start rolling in. I get in, I get through security, I go order a drink at the end of the bar. I can see where the filming is set up, where the DJ booth is. Like, this is clearly an event to film Kyle DJing for part of his storyline. Also, it's a Loverboy event, so kind of kills a bunch of birds with one stone. So I'm not drinking the Loverboy, actually. Even though I did get one free Loverboy with the event, I actually never even drank it, which is kind of disappointing because I've heard, I feel like I should have really done recon, but I don't know. I was not that thirsty where I needed to drink a Loverboy. And you guys know I like Kyle. Like, this is honestly not even shade, but I couldn't. I was enjoying my martini. So I'm there, I'm checked in, I'm meeting so many fun people too, by the way. Like, this was a really good event. There were some mixtures of people there that were just like friends that got dragged along with other friends. So it was kind of fun to like meet some new random people and also meet other Bravo fans. They come in, I kind of start seeing like cameras going up over in the corner. And like I said, I'm playing it cool. Like, I'm not necessarily like right over in the heat of things, but it's starting to get busy and it's starting to fill up in there. I've just been standing at the bar the whole time. There are tables and booths on this rooftop around the DJ booth and stuff. They all say reserved. So you can't necessarily like sit down at a table and like watch everything. So I'm creeping in the corner. Kyle, Carl, Amanda, they're kind of the first ones to come in. They film some scenes of Kyle DJing. Amanda's up there at the booth with him. They get some shots of that. And then they kind of like, and then more people come in. And then Kyle, Carl, Amanda are still out on the roof. And then like Lindsay comes in, Sierra and Paige, Jesse, I think were like the first ones. So they all kind of shuffle in and they're all starting to sit at this table, this reserved table near the DJ booth. And, things are happening. Things are starting to happen. Then the guys, they kind of come for like a chat and they film a scene over at the bar that I'm standing at. So if you're standing looking at the bar, I'm all the way down to the right. They're in like the middle of the bar. So it's Jesse and Kyle and Carl and West, all four of them. West was the last one to get there and he looked fucked up. I just have to say, he looked not like drunk, LOL, like he looked Kyle level drunk. And so they're all there. The men are talking. They film a scene. I could not hear them in any way. And I wasn't like trying to like read lips. Then Sierra and Paige came over right next to me, behind me. Like, I was at the end of the bar. At the end of the bar behind me, there was this little like photo op set up with all these little sunflowers. So I'm hoping you guys see these scenes. Like, this is kind of like cool to be behind the scenes. See them film a scene. Again, I'm not like necessarily there trying to like listen to them. But I see them film a scene. It looks like Sierra was showing everybody like something on her phone a lot. Like maybe I could be totally making that up or misinterpreting that, but it looks like in most of the scenes in the pictures I saw her, she was like showing a lot of people something on her phone. So there is a rumor too that Sierra is dating Blake Moynes from the Bachelor, Bachelorette franchise. If you guys don't remember, he was on Katie's season of then he went on Claire's season with Claire and Tayshia. The whole thing, the whole Blake's journey was very interesting. He is definitely Austin Kroll vibes. I could kind of see him being Sierra's type. Sierra and Wes did not interact or talk to each other at all. So hope, again, spoiler alert already. Like I'm going to have to tell people, maybe do an edit in the beginning. Like if you do not want Summer House spoilers, like do not listen. Sierra and Wes definitely were not talking. Lindsay was pregnant AF and she was bouncing around, having like the best time of her life. And she was almost having like too much fun, but she did leave early. Like she stayed, she definitely fulfilled her whole thing. She filmed, but she wasn't there like too late. She left. Amanda and Kyle, they were together and they okay, but there also feels like there's still tension underneath. That was just my opinion again. I didn't see them like they were they kissed and there was even like pictures of them, looking very happy, but like in real life, they didn't look like that happy. Amanda always has said that before. Remember, like she doesn't really like to go out with Kyle. Like when she goes out, because it seems to be so rare, she actually wants to just be out with like her girlfriends. So she was definitely just hanging with the girls. Paige is hilarious. I like her on television. I've said this before. I like her as a character on TV, but like in real life, I don't really like her. She just seems like that quintessential NYC girl. I'm just going to say that. Who else was there? Oh, yeah. And Jesse and the new girl. So I wasn't even trying to spoil this for people. And that's why I'm kind of glad I waited like 5-6 days to release this episode after going to this party, because now I've seen what other people have already released and like spoiled. But yeah, Jesse's definitely, situationshiped with the new girl, Lexi, who I found out she dated Brooklyn Beckham. Like, are you freaking kidding me? What are you doing with Jesse Solomon? That's a big downgrade. And she looks different on Instagram than she does in real life. And that's also not shade. She's a very cute girl, but she looks like this beautiful model. And in real life, she just looks like a normal, like Midwest girl, which I'm a Midwest girl. So say that with love. So the summer house party. Yeah. What else happened? Okay. I talked to Carl for a hot second. So if you guys remember on my episode from BravoCon last year, I met Carl on my plane from JFK to Las Vegas. He was on the same flight as me. I was standing in the aisle next to him for a while. I was chatting it up with him, telling him to, this is way before we had known anything except for that he and Lindsay had broken up and that the stuff that had gotten leaked was all we knew. But he had never went online and confirmed anything. Like this was in November last year. He was very nice to me. And he even told me he remembered me. He was like, oh, I remember you from BravoCon. Like, he was very, very nice. Told him I've been fighting for him in the trenches. He was very appreciative. Again, I tried not to be like too thirsty and let him, live his life. But he definitely was there having fun. And he and Lindsay seemed to just be avoiding each other, but there was no tension. Like there was more tension I felt between her and Wes not talking than there was between Lindsay and Carl not talking, which is interesting. Okay, summer house party. I know that there's other stuff. There's definitely new people. So there's a guy who I'm unsure of his nationality and I do not want to get it wrong, but that's online too. There's a new guy who was in all the pictures with them, seen hanging out with Carl mostly throughout the night. New guy, other new girl, Bailey, ran into her going to the bathroom, met her. She was super, super sweet and she was hanging out with my friends actually a lot. She seems normal and cool. Bailey, I think that she's kind of like becoming like the next Paige. Like I think they're trying to usher in these younger crowds. They want to keep Summer House going and they know the end is going to be near because hello, Lindsay's pregnant, like things are happening. So I think what they did obviously with Jesse and Wes was they were the new Kyle and Carl. Like they look exactly the same as them and they have almost damn near the same personalities, like very similar. Even Jesse just got fired from his finance job for being on Summer House, which is very a la Carl getting fired from his like dental jobs for being on Summer House. So there's just a lot of similarities. West and Kyle are very similar too. Like they get bonkers next dimension wasted, where they get that like look in their eyes. There's actually some funny, did you guys see that one picture circulating that was Jesse and the new girl Lexi kind of like canoodling in the corner, and then West is next to them and he has like a whole lover boy can in his mouth and he's like in the corner just by himself? Very Kyle. So they knew what they were doing when they casted these guys. I think that was pretty much it, to be honest. It was a really fun event. I'm excited to see how it plays out. I want to see those conversations that were filmed. Like I said, I didn't hear them, so I'm excited to see what was said. I think it's going to be a good season. So hope I didn't spoil too much for you guys. A lot of people have been asking me, like, was Kyle a good DJ? And I have very high standards because I'm kind of a music snob, I guess you could say. I've been, in the DJ booth, like Amanda with Kyle. I've been in the DJ booth with Cascade, who, if you guys remember James Kennedy, that was like that's his favorite DJ. Remember that episode? He was like, I'm going to be DJing with Cascade at the pool party. Yeah, I've been with him in the booth. So it's like, all right, calm down, Kyle. You're no Cascade. But he, put on a show and he did interact with the crowd and the fans. Everybody was very nice. Seemed like they were all getting along. So speaking of Bravo-related parties, I also went to another watch party yesterday. So that's why, excuse me for just being on the couch recording this week. I still have yesterday's curls in my hair. I was at the Real Housewives of Orange County advanced screening Bravo official watch party. Say that 10 times fast. In lieu of not having BravoCon this year, they've decided to do these NYC, LA based watch parties. So I got myself a ticket, went with my girl Mel yesterday, and we had a good time. It was an interesting venue. It's definitely a venue somebody would have like their anniversary party at. It wasn't exactly what I was expecting when I got there, but it was okay. It's a 2-floor venue and they have like 2 little press areas set up. So this was also where they had the previous watch party for the Summer House event, but I didn't go to that one. But it was at the same place, and you walk in, they have like kind of a step and repeat area. That's where they had the housewives, and who was there? It was Jen Pedranti and Ryan from the OC, Shannon and Vicky. Yes, I repeat, Shannon and Vicky. I got to meet them both. And then it was also Melissa Gorga, who was also very sweet and amazing. So kind of random to have 3 OC girlies and then 1 Jersey. I was really hoping there was going to be more Bravo celebrities there, but there were also 3 to 4 at the Summer House one. So I guess that was all to be expected for this one as well. It was good. They had like Bravo themed cocktails. Yes, I'm definitely a little bit hungover today. You know what I was drinking was the Whoop It Up Mule in honor of whooping it up with Vicky yesterday. I actually like desperately tried to stalk Vicky last night to find out what NYC bar she was going to go to because I wanted to go out with her. But she supposedly like did not go out last night. Like I didn't go as far as to look on her social media and like see if they lied. I was asking her like, where's the party at tonight? And I was trying to whoop it up with her and, Christian Grey Snow, who is also so sweet to me. He's a gem and he just started a podcast with Vicky. So I was like, where are you guys going tonight? And they said that they were getting up early to record. So they were busy doing NYC things. But I really wanted to hang out with them. What else happened at the watch party? So yeah, I met Melissa Gorga. She was honestly so nice, you guys. To all the tree huggers out there, sorry. And it's funny, how in this past episode, Tree's like, oh, my bitch Melissa, my sister-in-law bitch Melissa or whatever. It's like, she's not a bitch. She's so nice. She's truly so nice. So I met Melissa. She was really, really nice. When I met Vicky, I definitely told her she was mother to me. I told her I was a day one OG fan. I think I even said something about family van to her. Just normal Vicky. Like her and Shannon were so themselves and authentic in this event. They were cracking me up when they were doing this one game up on the stage together. The moderator asked Shannon some kind of question, and she was in her response, she's explaining how she was able to hold a plank for 10 seconds. Shannon's like, I held the plank. And just the way she's saying it and acting in her mannerisms, it was so Shannon-y. She's hilarious. I'm not picking any sides this season in Real Housewives of Orange County. I'm just not. Love them all. They're all bananas. Okay. So yeah, the watch party, like I said, nothing really like too exciting happened. Ryan and Jen from OC being there was interesting. People were loving Ryan. He was definitely, interacting with the fans a lot. He was at the bar, hanging out with everybody. It was fun. Jen, everybody's so beautiful and so nice. I really enjoyed the event and the Bravo celebrities that were there being so sweet, because at BravoCon, I'm not typically one to wait in the lines to take pictures and like meet them. It's just not where I spend my time when I'm there. But this was short lines, a smaller, more intimate event. And I was able to spend, at least 30 seconds to 1 minute with them. So more than what I did with Phaedra. When I met Phaedra at the drag brunch, I was like fourth in line and I didn't even get to take an individual picture with her. Like it was bad. She was not my favorite Bravo Lab. What are you going to do? So, okay, those are my watch parties that I was at. I feel like there's so much more that even happened, but overall, there was no true tea spilled. We got to see some previews of the Real Houses of New Jersey finale. It definitely is going to get heated again. Jen Aydin, you would think that she would have learned from that situation with Danielle, but it actually seems like she basically just repeats history and goes, for the jugular again with Danielle and says some foul things in the upcoming episode. So things are going to stay tuned for that. Okay, and I'm back to talk about LOL and my OMG moments of the week. They might surprise you because we've had some new shows premiere. So I want to start with the LOL and keep it light at the beginning of the episode. And I hope you guys are watching Welcome to PLATHVILLE. If you are not a PLATHVILLE fan, if you've given it a try and you don't like it, it's okay. I understand. But if you've never tried it, I really recommend you go back and catch up. It is a TLC show, and it is about a family from Georgia that was a fundamentalist Christian family that lived on a farm in Georgia and had, I believe, 9 children. And the matriarch and the patriarch of the family, Kim and Barry Plath, they are now going through a divorce. So it's gone through 5 seasons now of the trials and tribulations of this family. But what I've learned with watching this is that it got to such a dark place last season that I was also thinking to myself, like, how am I going to continue watching this? But I was really, really happy to see that clearly with my LOL moment of the week. This first episode had me laughing. It had me like in a new lens, in a new place with this show and this family. So we know last season got pretty dark. Again, I don't want to give too many spoilers. So you guys have to go back and watch last season and get caught up with the show because they don't really like do reality TV like this anymore. It's really hard to find these family dynamics like this. And I am truly fascinated by it. And I don't know. I just like love each and every one of these family members. So my LOL moment of this week is, if you guys are watching, like there's definitely a new production team or there's some kind of new something going on with this Welcome to PLATHVILLE season. It looked a little bit different. It feels a little bit different, and the music for sure is different. Like they're playing into more of like a Housewives thing of where like they play more music, and it wasn't necessarily like the music from Bravo where it's like da da da, like rap and like pop, but it was more of that like Real Houses of Orange County, like do 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 do, or like Houses of New York, like how they play that like goofy cartoon music behind some of the scenes. It just really, whoever's working over there to make this show and this season better this season, like maybe they kind of saw that last season had low ratings. I don't know if they brought in some new, creative ideas, but it's working for me. I loved the first episode. So again, this is season 5, I believe, episode 1. And my LOL moment of the week is when they pan to Kim. So as you guys know, Kim and Barry going through a divorce. They've decided to split the family up where now 3 of the girls are living with Kim, the 3 youngest girls. Mercy is the youngest, Cassia, and then Amber. Those are the 3 youngest PLATHVILLE girls, and they're living with Kim now in this divorce. And Isaac, the youngest boy, he is living with Barry. And Lydia, one of the other daughters, she is over 18, so she's living on her own. And then, as you know, Ethan and Olivia, they are technically still married, but Ethan doesn't live in state anymore. He lives in Minnesota. And Olivia and him are going through a divorce separation of their own, and she's living in California. So this family is a hot mess. Micah has moved now from California to Southern Florida. So everybody's kind of living everywhere. Mariah, she is now living with Barry as well. She just moved back from Tampa. We're going to get into a lot of drama about her this season. I can tell she's holding on to some secrets. But so yeah, I think that's like all the kids, kind of what's going on with them. But we have to catch up with each and every one of them. But like I said, my LOL moment of the week this week is Kim. They've split the girls up. Amber, Cassia, and Mercy are living with Kim. And when we come to find out where they're living, okay, first of all, you guys, I thought maybe they were homeless. Like, I was really scared where production was taking us with them, because the very first part of the scene is there's an outdoor shot of a marina in a public restroom. And then it's the inside shot, and it's bare feet on the floor of this basically public park restroom. And as they pan up, it is no other than Kim. And for some reason, I was not shocked. This is a very Kim thing to do. So Kim is a Floridian at heart. You know, this is what she does now. And she divulges to us that she grew up living on a sailboat for many years with her family. And she felt called to return to her roots and buy a houseboat. Now, her and the 3 youngest daughters are living on this houseboat together. It's eerie. It's eerie and it's haunting. Now, I don't want to judge anybody's parenting. And the girls, they seem happy. I believe it was Cassia that said it felt like an adventure to her. They like living on the boat. They think it's fun. But they don't have a restroom truly with like real plumbing. They have to shower in the public park restrooms. They are sharing beds. As tweenage girls that I believe range from 10 to 14. Not exactly the situation I think that you want, but I think that they're happy to be living with their mom and not be living with their dad, which I think I would rather live with Barry than Kim, just me personally. But hey, not my mother, not my family. So they're all living on this boat, and it was comical, but also totally just insane. My eyes, I could not believe what I was seeing. It could have easily been my OMG moment of the week, but because of just the way production did it with the music and then panning up from her bare feet on the floor of this restroom, being like, do, like checking in with Kim, like, let's see what Kim's up to. Season premiere. Where's Kim been? Oh, she's in the, oh my gosh. So yeah, I'm a little taken aback, but also lolling, because the production, they weren't just messing with Kim this episode. They're also messing with Micah. And Micah, as you know, he is the best looking in the family. He's a model. He is charismatic. As you know, even he says this episode, he's got the Riz. He's an enigma. And he was living in California. He wanted to get out of Georgia when he was old enough and try modeling and live on the West Coast and surf. And he definitely did that. And he did that out there for a while. He made some friends. And then on the off season, between season 4 and 5, he met some girl. And this girl lives in South Florida in an undisclosed city. They've never said what city he lives in or where this house is. But this girl seems to own a house in Florida. And he has been invited to move with her and live with her there. And so that's where he is now. He moved from California to Florida. His friends all kind of say it was pretty abrupt that he met this girl and moved. He kind of says, you know, when you know type stuff. Like, he seems to really be into it. I'm wondering, like, is this the first sign that like Mike is having some mommy issues maybe from this divorce that his parents are going through, where he's needing to live with some kind of like weird girl that's like mothering him, some kind of codependent relationship. So Micah, he doesn't work, he models. And he's always been kind of known to be not lazy, but you know, these kids were homeschooled and they aren't necessarily going out and getting like good jobs because they don't have an education. So he knows being a model is kind of his bread and butter. And he meets this girl. She's like, okay, you can live here. I'm assuming he's not paying rent. But the one agreement they have is that he has to do a honey-do list every day. And so he wakes up every day and he gets his list. And they even get this shot of him drinking his coffee and looking at his list for the day. And on the list, it says anything from like planting flowers to cleaning the bathroom to whatever needs to be done in the house that day. And he talks about how that's his responsibility and stuff. And he cracks me up because he's taking off his shirt while he's planting flowers. And, you know, Micah, I think you guys know, if you ever watch What Happens Live, Andy Cohen, even himself, has like a huge crush on Micah, and he's had him on to be his bartender a few times.
So Micah just knows that he's good looking, and he tries to use this charm on everybody to really get what he wants. And he takes off his shirt when he's gardening. They get this slow-mo shot of him, and he's talking about being a model, and he's just, Micah is Micah-ing. Like, I'm kind of glad he's back, and he's good comic relief for this episode also. He takes his shirt off during his confessional, and he's sitting there, and he's like, I'm going to start doing all my confessionals shirtless. It's like, okay, Micah. Calm down, Hasselhoff. Jeez. But he's really funny, and I'm glad he's back for another season. They're all back. The whole family is back. They're all ready to spill the tea. A lot of stuff was already spilled in this first episode. Like, it was pretty juicy. Micah's F-boy behavior. Oh, yeah, so the girlfriend. We have to just touch on the base with Micah's girlfriend. So she doesn't want to be on the show, and he lives with her. So obviously they're like, okay, well, how are we going to film you? Especially when you like don't have a job, you're going to be home all the time. Like, how are we going to film you if your girlfriend doesn't want to be on screen? So she has actually agreed to like film, but they have to kind of like get shots of her from like just like the side where you can't see her full face. They don't tell us her name. Like, again, we don't know what city they live in. And I don't know if it's maybe for her job. Maybe she comes from a high profile family. Like, unclear who this girl is, but I think at some point it will be revealed. They kind of like tease it in the season trailer that eventually she sits down and like films. So we will see, but what a weird situation. So Will is Micah's friend from California. Production flies him out because apparently Will has tea to spill. And production on TLC is messy. They are like, okay, we're going to fly Will literally from LA all the way to South Florida to come and give one interview about what happened when he met Micah's girlfriend. So Will says when he met Micah's girlfriend that they were having an argument and that he didn't meet her in the best pretenses because they were having some kind of heated fight. And he doesn't really say what it was about or anything, but he basically is just like, I don't necessarily like this girl. And he did not get a good first impression of her. And now Mike is trying to tell everybody like, no, this is great. Like, this is my girl. Like, I feel wedding bells and like all this stuff. And I don't know. I feel drama. And I also feel like production's trying to protect Micah. Like, they do want to see these kids grow up and get opportunities and succeed. They do not want to see them have people attached to them for their fame or use them or like any of this stuff. Like, I can tell production kind of treats them like family. So no, but I thought that was so funny that TLC like flew this guy out literally to shoot like one scene just to get that shot talking shit about Micah's girlfriend. So good. Plathville is dirty. Go watch. I'm going to try not to give you guys any more spoilers if you haven't seen the first episode, but it is a very hilarious episode. I'm going to post some video to my Instagram, so make sure you're following me there at Bella Talks TV. I like to post clips of my LOL and OMG of the week, little funny videos. And yeah, catch me over there on that. So let's move over to my OMG moment of the week. And there's a few. I have a few from the Real Housewives of Dubai this week that my jaw's on the floor again. I'm really enjoying this season. Yes, does it move a little bit slower? It kind of does. It's kind of like a Selling Sunset vibe of Housewives, where the storylines and everything, it's just a little bit, different vibe. Not the same as Jersey. Again, I always talk about the contrast between Jersey and Dubai. Like, couldn't be two different housewife shows. But I'm loving Dubai. So my OMG moment of the week was kind of a tie between two different parts. One is there's this part where Talene and Brooks are getting in. Finally, things have come to a head with them. Like, they've been tiffing. Caroline Brooks brought Talene onto the show as her friend. Basically got her cast. And I think now she's feeling abandoned because Talene is starting to be friends with the other girls. And Brooks is like, what the hell? I brought you on as my friend. And she's feeling scorned. So they're starting to fight. And you can feel it really starting to boil with them. And there is this part where they're fighting at Caroline Stanberry's housewarming party. And Talene does this head whip where she's fighting. Like, she goes, she's like, what? Like, you can just tell Talene's been drinking. And Talene and Brooks both are going back and forth to each other, like, put the drink down. You should put your cocktail down. You don't need any more to drink. Yeah, you don't need any more to drink either. And they're kind of like both calling each other out for being drunk. They've both been drunk several times throughout the season, like fall down, out drunk. So they're both right. They're both drunks. And that's okay. I mean, I believe they're both good moms and good business people still, but they definitely both love their cocktails. So it's like, who's calling, the kettle calling the pot black here. The pot is calling the kettle black here. Like, it's literally throwing stones in glass houses, which is so funny because that's why Caroline Brooks' salon is called the Glass House. It's like she's the first one to cast a stone. Oh my gosh. So these BFFs are beefing, and there's this part where they're out in the driveway of Caroline Stanbury's new house. Yeah, Talene does this like head whip where she's fighting with her, and I'm like, what is this girl doing? This housewife fight was so funny. The entire episode, my jaw was on the floor. They're fighting in the driveway. Then we have all of this other stuff too. Okay, so while this fight is going on, Stanbury's fighting with Sergio because Sergio wants to go out and get involved. And she keeps telling him to sit down at the table and to not get up and get involved in the housewife drama. It has nothing to do with them. And he cannot help himself. He keeps getting up and Caroline keeps pushing him down. They start almost getting like physical with each other where they're like grabbing onto each other and stuff. Like it got heated at this party. It was not good. So my jaw was on the floor with that. And then we have Ayan, also her Ayan beauty launch. She's talking about how she had her female circumcision when she was in Africa growing up with her sister, and they got theirs done at the same time, and they're trauma bonded. And she talks a lot about this. So she's going in and on about that. And she's talking a lot about how like people are actually, believe it or not, people are so mean that they are making her feel bad about this. And to me, Ayan is just very clearly like a little girl whose, innocence was stolen from her. And that's why she kind of like acts the way she does. My jaw was on the floor when she was talking about that. I'm like, how could people be so rude to basically a little girl who went through that? I totally feel for Ayan. And then the doozy of all doozies, the moment that really had me gagged was they reveal that Michael was drunk at the party that he threw for Caroline and Sergio being evicted from his house and moving on to their new home, is that Michael is paying for Stanbury's new house. Apparently he's paying the mortgage. Apparently he's paying, I don't know. I mean, it was a little cryptic, but it sounds like he was drunk and he was blabbing all over his own party to all these women, telling them that he pays Caroline's bills. So what is up with that? Because Caroline comes from old money. Then she married money. She has double money. Is this a situation where she wasn't able to get a mortgage because she didn't have like the credit in Dubai because it's really hard? So maybe Michael put the house in his name. Like, I have a hard time believing that Michael's paying all of the bills, but maybe he helped facilitate because it sounds like it's really hard to get things done and built and, processed in Dubai. I don't know. I don't know what this is all about, but they left us on to be continued. So I can't wait to find out more about what that means. Like, what do they mean Michael was drunk telling everybody that he pays all of Caroline's bills? Sergio doesn't pay for shit. I mean, I think we know that. What about the ex-husband? And what about the money that she already had? Like, I don't think she's broke. Is she living beyond her means? Like, what is the truth? We have to know. I'm loving Dubai. I will definitely be tuning in next week. I wonder how many more episodes we have because they gave us the mid-season trailer. They're going to be going to Bali next on an eat, pray, party. And we're going to see what comes out there. Talene and Brooks are going to have a lot of splaining to do to each other because they are besties that need to come back together. I do believe that. I really like Talene and Rafi. Okay, so yeah, that was Dubai. That whole episode pretty much had my jaw on the floor, but my OMG moment of the week, really, I think I have to give it to Michael. Michael, messy ass, walking around his house party, telling everybody that he pays for care. OMG. And with that, we'll take another small break and I will be back to do my top 5. All right, guys, welcome back. It is time now for my number 5 countdown of reality TV's most talked about moments. So let's start with my number 5 moment of the week. We're going to be over at the Bachelorette premiere. And I told you guys last week I was going to be covering the Bachelorette. I'm so happy I am because it's a pretty good season so far. I truly do enjoy the Bachelorette seasons over the Bachelor. I talked about that a little bit last week too. And Jen, again, was not my first choice, but so far I am enjoying her. She's surprising me. She is pretty outgoing, she's pretty goofy, for lack of a better word. And I'm enjoying her. I didn't think I was going to really be like lolling this much at her, but she kind of has me tuned in and interested in her journey, which is good. She's engaging and she I feel like she hasn't been sharing so much about her, but she's been really good at getting the guys to open up so far, which I know production really does their work over there also. They love to get these men to expose some traumas about themselves. So, of course, in true Bachelorette fashion, it's happening. Every day is already starting. They have their first group dates this week. There's the first one-on-one this week, and it's pretty good. So let's start with the first one-on-one date. So she gets her first one-on-one, and she decides to take Marcus, who is an Army vet. And they're in Australia, which is really crazy for the Bachelor Bachelorette franchise. Like, they don't usually travel this early in the season. It's the second episode. So right away, the Bachelorette is coming off this season being like, okay, we got to switch it up. We got to try some new things. We got to get people interested. I think they know after like so many seasons, feel like we've seen it all. So what are they going to give us this season to keep us interested and keep the ratings up? And it's totally working. Like, I'm buying into it. They're in Australia. I'm loving it. It feels fresh. The guys are excited. They did really good casting this season. We've already have feuds going on. Like, it is the second episode. So Jen takes these guys to Australia. She goes on her first one-on-one with this guy, Marcus. They skydive. I cried 3 times watching this. It is one of my biggest fears. Like, I anything to do with jumping out of a plane, and she is not happy about it. Like, she walks up, and when she sees what they're doing, she's like, oh, hell no. And then it's good that she does it with Marcus, or I see why production sets her dates up. I don't even really think they get to choose who they go on these dates with. I think production chose him because he is very comfortable jumping out of planes. He actually has jumped out of many planes in the Army, and he's survived injuries. And they talk about this on her one-on-one, and it goes well with Marcus. Like, Marcus is definitely going to be one of America's picks to be a favorite, because he's, even in the package they showed of him, on the first episode, it was like the first guy that they introduced. Like, ABC loves this guy. He will probably be the next Bachelor, even if he doesn't get chose for this. So, I mean, ABC loves an Army vet, an ex-NFL player. I mean, they love all these types of guys. Keep an eye on Marcus. Not sure if he'll be a love match for Jen. I'm not feeling like the chemistry. I'm getting friend vibes from them, but I can definitely see him being the Bachelor, or being a Bachelor in Paradise, which, oh yes, you guys, it got renewed. Bachelor in Paradise. As soon as I recorded this episode last week, I got online and it was announced that they are doing Bachelor in Paradise 2025. So it will be back, just like BravoCon took a pause. A lot of things are taking a pause this year. I don't know if it's because it's an election year. I don't know if it's because it's Olympics. Unclear, but a lot of things are pausing this year. So it will be back. Thank God. I am so happy. Maybe it has something to do with all of the success of Love Island. I'm not sure. I also want to say a random thing here. Did you guys watch that show Temptation Island? There are 4 seasons. It was on USA. I am obsessed with that show, and I'm not sure if it got canceled, but it's been a while since they've put an episode out. And if you have never seen it and you need some messy, dirty, cheating love show, real world kind of show, please go watch Temptation Island. It is exactly what it sounds like. Wild. Okay, so that was a little sidebar because I just thought of that when I was thinking about Bachelor in Paradise. But okay, yeah, I'm so glad it's coming back. Okay, so we're back with Jen. Jen does her first one-on-one with Marcus. But back at the house, there's already a feud brewing. And it's between Devin, who is the Pete Davidson lookalike from Houston, and Aaron, who is Noah's brother, who Noah is from Tayshia's season of The Bachelorette, and he went on to Bachelor in Paradise to get engaged to Abigail, and they're still engaged. So if you guys don't know Noah and Abby, go look them up. If you're from Bachelor lore, you know them. And it is Noah's brother, Aaron, who is now on this season with Jen, and it's clear. Okay, I'm like, is this guy there for the right reasons? Or is he, okay, it could go 2 roads. He pretty much is like, okay, this process worked for my brother, so that's why I'm here, and I want to make sure that I find my wife. But he's also like playing clearly into production's palm, like he's a production pet, and he'll do anything that they want him to do. So I'm like, I can't get a read on this guy. Like, is he there for the right reasons? Is he really there for Jen? Or is he thinking already like, okay, if I just get through Jen's season, like I could be a Bachelor? I hate guys like that. So I'm kind of getting vibes like that from Aaron, not my favorite guy on this season of The Bachelorette. I'm actually kind of team Devin in this fight. And another reason I don't like this whole situation is Do you guys remember on Tayshia's season of The Bachelorette, Noah, who again is Aaron's brother, Bennett, who was crowd favorite. You know, everybody loved Bennett. He was kind of quirky, nerdy, kind of Yale guy. I think he went to Yale or Harvard. He had a little feud with Noah because Noah was the youngest guy, I think, on that cast. And Bennett, I think, was the oldest. And Bennett would go to him and basically be like, if you want to be with Tayshia, like, you need to be more mature like me. Like, here's how to be, like, emotionally intelligent. He even gives him a book at some point to read that's about emotional intelligence and is kind of like, dude, like, he's like, I'm not trying to, like, pick a fight with you. I'm just trying to say, like, I can tell you're too young to be with Tayshia, like, pretty much, but here, go better yourself in a different place. And he actually, like, wasn't wrong. Bennett was not wrong. He wasn't the best guy for Tayshia either, but Noah was not going to be with Tayshia. So, I mean, it was good for TV. It was good for TV. But now fast forward to this episode, and it's the same thing. Aaron sits down with Devin, the Pete Davidson guy, and he says, I don't think that you're, mature enough to be with Jen, which is, like, laughable. Jen's really goofy. I would never say immature, but she just is like a goofy younger girl who would actually be perfect for Devin. And I think Aaron's seeing that. But with all that being said, Aaron gives Devin a book, Emotional Intelligence, or it's called, like, The Principles to Self-Growth or something. So he does the same thing that Bennett did to his brother on the season of Tayshia. So what the hell in Bachelor production is going on here? Because is this an organic scene? Did Aaron come up with this? Like, who came up with this idea? I mean, it was funny, and I lived for it, and I am Team Devin still, but what the hell? Now, Aaron is not the only guy that is fighting with Devin. Devin is clearly a front runner with Jen, and people are starting to be jealous of him already. But there's more than one person fighting with Devin. So there's also Thomas. Thomas is I think 30-something-year-old Vietnamese guy that is an immigrant from an immigrant family. And he has a lot in common with Jen. And in the first episode, I thought they definitely will have a lot in common and I can see them hitting it off. But then this episode, he already is starting to, like, be a jealous little, and there's always a few of them every season of The Bachelorette, these guys that you're just like, oh my gosh, you're being like a little punk. And he's like a little punk. He starts going after Devin too, picking fights with him, trying to get camera time, trying to Jen to, get involved in the drama. And it's like, we're only on week 2 and you're already starting to cause drama. That little Thomas guy, I don't know, like, what he thinks. He obviously starts to sweat bullets and he starts to regret some of the things that he says with Devin. And they go to they have the first rose ceremony and it gets down. Of course, everybody is like, oh my God, is Devin going to make it? It's like, of course, Devin's going to make it. So Devin gets through to the rose ceremony. And then they basically leave Thomas on the hook. Like, they always pick one guy that they're like, okay, we're going to make him sweat to find out if he's going to actually make it to the next week. And so they're really honed in on, like, is Thomas going to make it? Because since he came for Devin, like, is Jen going to see right through him? Is she going to want this, like, dramatic guy around? And of course, production wants to keep him around for another week. He's feuding with everybody and, he's there for the drama. But it's fun to kind of see these guys, like, already having fights and already getting into these situations. Aaron, to me, he is for sure the villain. He is for sure the villain. Some of the other guys we didn't get a chance to talk about. Okay, let me just run through a few of these. So there's Sam, who is the Southern guy that kind of looks, you guys know who I'm talking about. I don't even have to explain it. He just looks American. He kind of looks like Kyle Cook in a weird way. I don't know. Okay, yes. We have him. We have Marcus, the Army vet she did the one-on-one with. Devin, the Pete Davidson lookalike from Houston. Then there's Grant, who she ends up having, like, a major makeout session with this episode. There's Dylan, who is the guy that steps in with her during the snake challenge, and he holds the snake for her, which was, like, her biggest fear. So that was on the group date. Dylan, Thomas, again, the little short Vietnamese guy that's fighting Devin. Jonathan, the guy that wore the gauze on his face during the first night and then did the big reveal. I don't like him. I can't put my finger on it. Not feeling him. Then we have Aaron, Noah's brother, and that Spencer guy who is, like, the pet entrepreneur. I don't understand. I don't need to see any more of him, but I think he's going to be around for a few more weeks. I mean, the guys that went home this week, I literally don't even remember their names. So they were clearly like the guys that didn't get any camera time, that didn't even get a chance to talk to Jen. So everybody who got roses, they all deserved to be there for another week. I really liked the premiere. I had a lot to say. I mean, for me, I don't know if anybody's talking about like that book. I need to go online and start making some chatter about that, because I'm like, did anyone else get that reference of the book being handed from Aaron to Devin? Like, I totally clocked that. That was an iconic moment in Bachelorette history. So I see what they were doing there. That was my number 5 most talked about moment of the week. So moving over, number 4 most talked about moment, we're going to go to Jersey, my fave. And again, loved meeting Melissa Gorga last night. She was so sweet to me. I talked to her about how I just married an Italian and how I just went to Italy for the first time and was in some of the places that she was there with her family. I loved it. She was so sweet. Jen Aydin fired is my question, because Jen was on Watch What Happens Live this week, and Andy straight up confronts her, and she had a very like Sonia episode where she seemed a little bit tipsy and was talking over everybody, and even Andy was like, can I please get a word in? She was on with Gary Janetti, who is Brad Goreski's husband, and even Gary was like, can I please like say something? Jen, of course, was just like steamrolling everybody, and that's what she always does. And the BravoCon panels, anytime she's on Watch What Happens Live, anytime that she does any type of public speaking, she just can't get her shit together. I wonder if she's like on, no, I'm not even going to say that. Allegedly. So I really want to know if Jen is fired, because Andy asks her straight up on Watch What Happens Live, what's up with the bloggers? Like, there's screenshots everywhere. You've clearly been caught like dealing with them. And she pretty much admits it. She's like, okay, Andy, you are right. Like, I have been talking to bloggers. I mean, we all talk to bloggers, which is what they all say, which is, it's like if someone murders somebody, you're going to be like, oh, we all murder people. Like, no, that's not a defense. You need to speak for yourself and take accountability. I really wish Jen would have been like, you know what? Yes, like I got in too deep. I was, never should have been sending screeners and trying to manipulate the fans. I should have just been showing up and filming and doing my job as contracted, and she just can't do that. She can't admit any fault, and apparently that's just how things are always going to be, because we're never going to really get closure, I think, because I do believe she has been fired and there's not going to be a reunion, so we're never going to hear Jen Aydin ever take any accountability for this, which is really disappointing. Housewives that have been fired, speaking of, Kathy Wakili, she made a return to the clubhouse, and the night that Jen was there, talking about how her and Richie are building a house on the same street Melissa and Joe just built their house. And when Andy asks her about this, Kathy replies, oh, I didn't know it's Melissa Way. Like, kind of like, oh, I didn't know she owns the street. And it's like, okay, it's not that she owns the street. It's the fact that, wow, that's crazy. 2 housewives living on the same street. Wow. And Andy's just asking you. All you could say is just be like, yeah, crazy, small world. Like, we really liked the property. But no, instead she has to make some snarky comment about Melissa, which makes me think like she is making a ploy to come back on. And maybe she's in talks to come back on. And maybe one of the selling points of her coming back on is, look, like, I'm going to live by Melissa and I'm down to feud with her. So if you get rid of Teresa, then maybe we'll come back on. So I don't know. I could kind of see Kathy making a reboot. I think what I'm seeing with a lot of the Real Housewives now, just to talk about Atlanta for a hot second, is that they're talking about how they're trying, now that Kenya's gone, they're getting Cynthia to move from being a friend of to a full-time cast member again. And then they are getting Phaedra, hopefully, with her Married to Medicine contract. They're trying to get her to be able to also be a full-time housewife on Atlanta. And there's a few things like they're trying to get a lot of these like older housewives, not necessarily even OGs, but just a lot of the housewives that are from yesteryear to come back on. Like, I think that tests really well with the fans, and the old housewives just know how to housewives. Like, they really do. So bringing Cynthia back, bringing Phaedra back, Portia back, some of these ladies like rebuilding Atlanta, great idea. Now with Jersey, I think they could do the same. Now, I think we all have to admit that we live in a world where I don't think it is going to be possible Teresa and Melissa are going to continue on the show together. I just don't think it's possible. Melissa is not going anywhere. I will die on this hill. And it's not even like a Melissa versus Teresa thing. It's just that she is truly a fan favorite. I didn't even know she has like more followers too. Like, people love Melissa. I love Melissa. So she's not going anywhere. I could see them bringing back Kathy. They keep Melissa. This is hard. You guys tell me too in the comments. If you're watching on YouTube, tell me, do they keep Dolores? I think that they could maybe spin Teresa off at this point. I don't think it will be a fired from Bravo situation, but I do think that she would thrive with the show with the daughters. And especially, Gia really wants to be on camera, like all of this. I really think it's possible that they could spin the show off and rebuild around Melissa. It just makes the most sense to me. But again, I always go through this every week with you guys where I make these predictions and then it evolves and changes and stuff. And of course, I have no idea what's going to happen, but I do wonder, like, okay, Kath, Rosie would return. That would be great. Margaret, I think that they will let go. Jen, they're going to let go. Jackie's definitely gone. Fessler, have no problem saying goodbye to Fessler. I think Danielle, unfortunately for getting physical, also going to be gone, just like Jen. So maybe they keep Fuda. Fuda and Melissa are good friends. Jaden and the son Gino, I believe. Joey, one of them, they are good friends. All right, just spitballing here. That Watch What Happens live appearance after the Real Houses of New Jersey, that really got my brain spinning. So we will have to see. Okay, my number 3 most talked about moment of the week this week is going to be Tom suing Ariana for the revenge porn countersuit with Rocky Bang Bang, also known as Raquel, also known as Rachel. So let's touch in with this lawsuit. There has been a new countersuit filed where Tom now is officially shooting back at Ariana and saying that because Ariana had unauthorized access to his phone in order to get the video that she then allegedly distributed, which is, unproven and has been denied by other people, including Sheena, who, I've seen Sheena lie on camera before. She did say she never punched Rachel, which I think we all know is a lie. So did Ariana distribute the video? Again, allegedly, I don't know. Ariana, you guys know I love Ariana. Like, this isn't even me. She's like my favorite reality TV star of the moment. I wouldn't say all time, but of the moment. And I think it's possible she sent it to herself and didn't show it to anybody. And then that's maybe what Tom's trying to prove. Like, maybe he has proof at least that it was sent from his phone. And that's what they're trying to prove. Unclear. It's not like I read the court documents, but this is really disappointing. Tom is a worm with a mustache, and he and Victoria Lee deleted all of their social media. And this is a dark time to be watching T. Sandy. What I'm disappointed about is that cameras aren't up. I know that they wouldn't be able to be filming anything to do with the lawsuit, but they would definitely be able to be filming what's going on with Tom and Victoria. And I want to see that. I want to see what's going on there. Supposedly, Tom Schwartz removed some kind of birthday post that he made for Tom Sandoval. I'm wondering if the post got removed because Tom deleted his social media. I'm not sure, but there seems to be a lot of trouble over in Paradise, aka Sir Alley. So I would like to get them filming as soon as possible. Lala had a baby monsoon, she called it, which was weird. Just call it a baby shower. I'm confused about what the monsoon is about. Like, is it supposed to be like extra gifts? Like, don't shower my baby, like bring 5 gifts a piece. Like, is that a monsoon? Like, I'm not sure what a monsoon is. And then she wore that same dress that Ariana wore to that tea party Raquel had. Is Lala okay? I don't know what she's thinking. I want my girl back, but I think she's too far gone. So yeah, Tom deleted social media. Over the weekend, I was at the Golden Nugget in Atlantic City. Played that video 9,000 times for my husband, and I just made him watch it. And we were cracking up laughing, not going to lie. Like, he's, again, not a Vanderpump Rules fan, but he knows enough about these characters just from being with me to kind of understand. And when I played him that scene, he had then throughout the whole weekend, you guys know this that I'm talking about, where Tom Sandoval's in his old apartment, the famous WeHo apartment that he had, where he lived with everybody, including Ariana. And then Stassi comes over that day when he's talking about when he cheated on Kristen, and Stassi confronts him in that kitchen. And Tom's like, we made out in the Golden Nugget pool. And Stassi goes, the Golden Nugget? And Tom's like, yeah, I love that place. I just kept saying, yeah, I love that place. My husband kept being like, the Golden Nugget all weekend. He would look at me and be like, the Golden Nugget. And I would be like, yeah, I love that place. I wanted to do one of those like mouth over videos, but I don't know how to do those. Like I need a Gen Zer to teach me how to do one of those voiceover videos. So I've got some good ideas for those. Okay, so yeah, that's really my number 3 most talked about moment of the week. I have nothing much to say about it except for that I'm really mad at Tom and he's a demon. Number 2 most talked about moment of the week is going to be going back to the Real Housewives of Orange County premiere that happened last week. So we don't have episode 2 until tomorrow night, which will be Thursday. The episode 1 was really, really good. It was one of my favorite episodes of Housewives of all time. And truly just for the main scene where Alexis and Shannon are talking outside of this Balboa country club, which I loved the original OC scripted series also. So anything Balboa related makes me think of the original OC show. So it was just a very good nostalgic episode. It was a really good Housewives, especially for it being season 100 of Housewives. But I really liked that whole scene where Shannon and Alexis are standing outside and all of the other housewives are holding their martinis and peering out the window with them, like trying to see and hear what they're talking about. That was such a perfect scene. And my hat really goes off to Bravo for that. Like they're really doing it with OC this season. They're bringing us back to like that classic, just amazing housewives, and we deserve it. Like if we're still here 18 years later, we deserve a season like this. So please give it to us. I don't want any of these women to hold back. Shannon, I think at the end of the day, like we're just not going to get any type of like, you know how Shannon addressed in the first episode, like she addressed the DUI with the daughters. That's it. That's all we're going to get from that. To her, she's like, I did my crime, I'm doing my community service. I've told the people closest to me and I'm going to continue to drink. I don't have a problem, but like, thanks for everybody for your concern. And that's all we're going to get from her. And people are really going to want her to take accountability, to own up to what she did, to make a plan to change, to grow and evolve from this. And it is not happening. You might as well just kiss that goodbye, put that on the wishing wall and just let it go because it's never going to happen. Shannon has no interest in doing that. So last night I didn't see her have a single drink. I actually saw some people commenting online about how she was not drinking last night, which is great. Like, I'm glad she wasn't. I definitely was. I'm hungover. So I had enough drinks for me and Shannon last night. But I'm really glad that they're back. What else happened in the premiere? So the new girl, Katie, she came on. She's going to feud with Heather. I'm not necessarily like a fancy pants stan, but I like Heather. She's snobby. She gives me West Coast vibes. And she gives me rich ass vibes. And I'm here for that. Love her and Terry. They're funny together. Jen and Ryan. Okay. I totally believe that Jen only gets paid $50 a class because that's all I get paid to teach. And I'm a yoga teacher. So that's about the going rate. I think the problem with all of this is that she is basically been waiting for a settlement for her and her husband from when they got divorced. And I think there was problems with him not working for their family business anymore. And I think that basically their divorce just is taking a long time, or it was taking a long time, because since this first episode has aired last week, over the weekend, a divorce settlement was reached with Jen and her ex. And I think maybe it has something to do with this episode airing. Like, did her family see it? Did his family see it? Did he see it? Did somebody see this episode and be like, oh my God, Jen's getting evicted. Those kids are homeless. Like, what the hell is going on? Like, why, how did you let things get so bad with your ex-wife and their family? And maybe he did step in and just be like, okay, I need to get this divorce finalized, because now she's getting, for I believe what I read, somewhere around $10,000 to $15,000 a month in alimony now that this divorce has been settled. So she's going to have enough money for rent now. They're going to be okay. I think they're actually all living with Ryan now. But as you know, Ryan's also under a federal investigation for being indicted because of this Ohtani LA Dodgers gambling scandal, because Ryan apparently was the bookie for this huge scandal, stealing money, blah, blah, blah. I don't know much about that, allegedly, but he was there with Jen last night and they're very happy together and he was wearing his graphic jackets. So C is back, baby. So glad I got to meet Vicky last night. So glad I get to watch Tamra on my screen again. I know a lot of people are thinking that she's just like going over the top and being too orchestrated as a housewife, but that is what Tamra does. Tamra's very aware of the cameras and she is there to move storyline. That is her MO. So people aren't going to like it, but it's going to be a very action-packed season, probably because of a lot of Tamra. So just sit back and relax, everybody, and enjoy. Let's not hate any of them. Let's all enjoy what they all contribute, and let's watch as an ensemble cast comes together and shows us what Housewives is all about over in the OC this season. So that was my number 2 most talked about moment of the week. I'm really excited for episode 2 of the season tomorrow night, and let's do my number 1 most talked about moment of the week. So right when I got done recording last week, I put my mic down, I turned my phone on, and I find out Gypsy Rose is pregnant. And I was so mad because I had just recorded, my whole episode and uploaded it and stuff. And I hadn't talked about that. I didn't know about that at the time. And so I was so sad I didn't get to talk about it yet. But so much has even happened in the past week since Gypsy has announced her pregnancy. There's a lot going on with her. So she announces she's pregnant with Ken's baby. Then she released a timeline online that shows the day she left Ryan, the last time that she slept with Ryan, the first time she slept with Ken, and then some subsequent dates she slept with Ken. I believe they were all unprotected and in the method of trying to have this baby. I do believe that. I don't believe it was just like a one-time thing. And Gypsy has always wanted to be a mom. So it's really hard for me to even like articulate why I feel so invested in Gypsy becoming a mom. I think we all are very fearful because she has clearly been passed down some traits, even if just nature versus nurture. Like she is 50% Dee Dee, and we know her mom was absolutely bonkers. So I'm pretty scared to know that Gypsy too has probably learned a lot of unhealthy behaviors. And since she didn't receive the proper therapy and rehab in prison, she hasn't learned to deal and unpack all of the trauma and move forward in a healthy way. And she's making a lot of decisions in the words of her dad, like almost like a 13-year-old girl. Like this is a 30-year-old woman. So this is not a good sign for Gypsy's future. She's already going off the rails. She's only been out of prison for 7 months. She's already gotten divorced, gotten pregnant by a different man's baby that she was previously engaged to. And yeah, it's all happening. She confirmed it. She's excited. She hasn't been feeling good. She's been having some morning sickness. And Ken has been rumored to, have been seen on Grindr. He goes on TikTok lives a lot and he'll be like, I'm not bi, I'm not gay. Gypsy will be like, he eats my so good. Ugh. It's like too much information, Gypsy, too much information. She talks about how there's no way he could be gay. I don't know. I have no idea. Like, what the hell is going on? Gypsy. So Gypsy's going to have Ken's baby. A lot of people have been asking me, like, do you think it's, Ken's or do you think it's Ryan's? I do 100% believe it's Ken's. I believe the timeline. I don't believe this is Ryan's baby, but I have saw that because of the state that she lives in, Ryan is going to be required to take a paternity test as well as Ken, because Ryan is still legally married to Gypsy at the time of the conceiving of the baby. And Ryan's name will go on that baby's birth certificate unless there's a paternity test that will remove it to show that Ken is the baby. So there's going to be paperwork that needs to be done here. So there will be closure. There will be answers to this. We will eventually know. It's not going to be like some of these other famous celebrity babies who we never really know who the father is. I'm not even going to go down that Kardashian conspiracy theory hole today. I do believe this is going to be Ken's baby. Now, why Ken wants to have a baby with Gypsy and be with her for the rest of his life and do this, why did he ever write to her in the first place when she was in prison? Why did Ryan write to her? Like, why does anybody want to be with Gypsy? You'd have to ask Ken and Ryan. I believe Ryan really loved Gypsy for truly like who she is. And I think he's attracted to her. I think that he is, was surprised be able to get the chance to really be with her and marry her. I think that he really loved her and loved being with her so much. And people are really hating on him in this last episode of Life After Lockup, Gypsy Rose. She gets in trouble for posting a video that jeopardizes some of her parole violations. And Ryan makes the comment that's like, well, does your parole officer know that deleting social media could really affect you financially? Because that is revenue for our family. And she's like, that's revenue. And she gets so mad. Like Ryan's just saying, oh, I don't care about, all I care about is money. And it's like, that is not what he's saying, Gypsy. Like this man has a very valid point that this is the only job as a murderer you're probably ever going to have, is having a reality TV show, maybe getting a book deal, selling merch. Like, I don't know, you're going to have to capitalize off of this. So that doesn't make you a bad person. You need to strike when the iron's hot. When Lindsay Hubbard does a clear blue pregnancy announcement, it doesn't make her a bad person. That makes her a smart businesswoman. So you need to be doing the same thing. You need to make a bag and get your coin while you can, because right now you need to strike while the iron is hot. You have a baby coming. You have a family to provide now. Like Ryan had a very good point. Like you need to, instead of running your mouth on social media, use it to make money. Hello, Gyps. So I'm Team Ryan on this fight. I'm so disappointed that she broke up with him in a parking lot on camera. And asked for the divorce basically, and then moved out of the apartment when he wasn't home. And then she abandoned her dog Pixie there to stay with Ryan. And I cannot with that. Gypsy, you're on my shit list for that one. You don't leave you wanted that dog. That was all you. You convinced Ryan. You put all the work in to get her. And now you're just going to leave her behind. So I'm pretty mad at you for that one, Gypsy. But I still love you, girl. I'm willing to give you grace and forgive you. I know you're learning to live in this world again, but we have got to get you integrated better. I'm not sure who out there besides Kim Kardashian can really mentor you. Kim, yeah, you should really be doing more. That should be your civil duty to take care of Gypsy, because if you want to also use her in your show and use her for clout, then you should be stepping in and helping her. Help her get some brand deals. Help her do some more collabs with you with the prison reform. Like, take care of this woman. Make sure that she is going to be okay. It's like reality stars should really be looking after reality stars like family. Kim's like the queen of the reality star Illuminati. She should be taking care of Jip. So yeah, if you guys didn't see, I didn't talk much about Kardashians this episode, but go watch the last episode. Kim meets Gypsy. Gypsy talks about how basically she's been shunned by the outside world now that she's been out of prison because of, what she did. And she talks about the hardships of that, but it's like really hard to have sympathy for her. It is. It is. She's not doing herself many favors with that. But it's a good episode. I'm loving Gypsy Life After Lockup. I don't know how many episodes we're going to get. I don't know if they're going to continue to film throughout this pregnancy. I fucking hope so. Please, Lifetime, don't take Gypsy away from us. Please. So yeah, with all that being said, I gave you guys a good hour and a half of me being hungover talking about these watch parties on the couch with you guys. Sorry, it wasn't maybe my best episode, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please rate, review, subscribe, automatically download, go on Spotify and download, go on Apple Podcasts and download, go on YouTube and watch. I have to ask, for those reviews and ratings. They mean a lot. They really help with my ranking and they help other people find my show. So please go on and do that. And yeah, I'll try to come back and give you guys some more dirt for next week. Trying to think what else I'm watching. What else am I watching? Let me think for a second. What can I leave you guys with? Make sure you're watching The Bachelorette. I'm going to go catch up with Teen Mom. I'm watching $1 Million Listing LA. I love Josh Flagg. I am watching Plathville. Again, please go watch Plathville. And yeah, that's pretty much it, you guys. So have a great week. I love you all. Ciao, Bellas.